Hey there everyone, it's Bob Martin, the RCSubGuy with the Nautilus Drydocks. I got another project to share with you. This is a really cool one, a unique boat. I'm excited to show it to you. So if you don't recognize it, and not a lot of people probably would, this is a Soviet Gulf class submarine. It's a ballistic missile submarine that the Soviets put into play, I believe in the 1960s or so. This particular boat was originally built by Dwayne Hill, whom you've seen some boats from in the past on my channel as well. This came in through the shop. We went through it, tweaked everything, got it all set up with a new radio, retrimmed it, and now it's getting ready to head out to the new owner. But before it goes out, I want to show you some more information about it because it's such a unique boat. So the first thing that you're going to notice about this is this submarine has one of the biggest sails on it that you've ever seen on a submarine. And it's because the missile tubes are actually housed in the sail. And you can see if you take a closer look in here, the tips of the rockets are all protruding here. Dwayne modeled those, and all of these hatches close up. They're not actuated, but the new owner may decide to do that, and if he's really talented, he'd be able to rig those up for operational use. I would love to see that myself. This boat is set up on 2.4 gigahertz for control. You can see the radio there. That's a 10-channel radio. The antenna is housed up here in this kind of flexible mast, snorkel intake on the back of the tower. And I've gone into 2.4 gigahertz submarines in the past. I'm not going to beat that horse to death any further, but I love it, and this boat works really, really well with that setup. Some other unique features about this boat: we've got folding bow planes, and these are fully operational. They swivel in when the boat is in surfaced mode, and you can extend them for submerged operation. And the last really cool and unique thing is actually at the stern here, and you can see we've got a triple prop situation going on there. Just a really, really unique stern on this boat. And one of the neat things about it is because these control surfaces are behind the propellers, you get excellent response to both pitch and rudder inputs. So it's actually, despite its size, it is very, very easy to drive, turns really well, and responds to pitch inputs very easily. So now that we've shown you the outside of the boat, let's get into the control aspect of the boat, get the cylinder mounted, and see how it works. Access to the interior of the hull could not be easier. I'm kind of in love with it. Basically, there's a pin at the front and an exceptionally strong magnet at the back. So we just grab it here, lift it up, slide off the top, and we've got full access to the interior of the boat. So before we drop the cylinder into the boat, let's take a closer look at what is inside this hull. The biggest thing is the main drive battery. This is a 12 volt, 4 amp hour sealed lead acid battery. You can see the terminals have been sealed off with some silicone. Really, the only one you need to worry about is the positive terminal. And you could run it wet, but you just get a little bit of corrosion, green goop that forms on there after a while. This just drops down into the bottom of the hull, into a little cradle, so that doesn't move. I'm going to get my, there we go. Got a waterproof connector. We're just going to keep that on the outside. And if we go in the back here, you can actually see the that gearbox. So it's a single shaft or single motor that drives the entire drivetrain there. And this is exceptionally free moving, very, very smooth. Dwayne did an awesome job setting this up. Got some fabricated magnetic connectors here for the stern planes and for the rudder. And then looking up in the front here, we can see the retracting dive plane. So we can, got our pitch control right there. And then by moving this lower arm in, it extends and retracts the dive planes. So with that said, let's take a closer look at the cylinder itself. Starting from the front, we've got a linear servo here with the output for the forward dive planes, and we've got one for the extension and then one for the pitch control in this forward compartment. Then we've got an air pump in here, and this is sort of a hybrid system. So there's a vent that evacuates all the air from the ballast system. The water comes in through these 3 large holes in the bottom, and then to surface again, if the boat is on the surface, it'll pull air through this hose from a mast in the sail and blow it into the ballast tank. If it's too deep, it's actually got a gas backup in here, so that servo for the ballast pushes forward, depresses that little Schrader valve, blows compressed gas in here, displaces the water, and the boat surfaces. Going in the back, we can see the servos for the rudder and for the rear dive planes, a 40 amp electronic speed controller, and a brushed motor. And then we've got our receiver in here. The other big thing to note is that this is the antenna extension for the 2.4 gigahertz antenna, and this is the antenna just at the very tip, the last 1.25 inches of this coaxial cable. And then we've got our waterproof connector, which provides power to the entire unit. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this into place. I grab it right here. Got a little intermediate drive shaft that goes between the gearbox, right, if I can see, and the output shaft. Goes just like that. We make sure the front is nestled down in place, which it is. This magnetic coupler gets connected, and then going to push these, connect the drive shaft there. With all that done, we can connect our rear magnetic linkages just like that. And aside from velcroing the cylinder into place, we're now good to go. All right, let's go ahead and do bench tests. We'll show you how everything works in here. Procedure, obviously, turn your transmitter on. We got power there, and simply connect power. We got some light indications on the electronic speed controller. We got power in here. Now we can start running through the functions of the boat. Let's start at the stern here, where we can check the rudder operation. We got stern plane override, and it's also got an electronic pitch controller, automatic pitch controller in there. You can check our throttle, forward and reverse. Excellent. Moving forward, I guess we might as well test the ballast tank. Vent. And then we move to blow and emergency gas blow. So that's all working. And then to the front. You can see the bows are in the retracted position right now. We can go ahead and extend them. And now we can operate our bow planes. There we go. Everything seems to be working. Now we can go ahead and put the upper hull on the boat, get it all buttoned up and ready for the pond. So we've got our upper hull here. Only 2 things you need to do. You need to connect the intake for the air pump, and we need to take our antenna, and it just goes right up into this brass tube, and it gets fed all the way up into the top of that mast. There you go, and I actually pushed it right out, but we'll get that settled. Drop that down and make sure we haven't pinched any hoses. All good there. Now you can see that's how high up the antenna goes. So basically, once you get below that, you're going to lose communication with the boat. But fortunately, as you've seen in my previous builds, there's a failsafe functionality built in, and we can go ahead and show that to you right now. In theory, what will end up happening The throttle will move to 30%, which will continue to drive the boat forward. Stern planes will go to full rise. Forward dive planes will go to full rise, and the ballast tank will blow. So I'm going to go ahead and pretend we're in submerged operation. We'll extend our bow planes. And we're going to replicate a loss of signal by turning off the transmitter. Yeah, rise on the planes, 30% throttle, and I can hear and feel the air pump in operation, and we can check by putting our hand on the intake right here, and that does have suction. Turn the power back on, and we've got control over the boat once again. In practical application, what would end up happening if you were cruising around at periscope depth and just dropped below, if you weren't paying attention, the boat will just automatically rise back up. You'll regain full control almost without realizing that you lost it. It's a very seamless procedure, and it makes for a lot of fun at the pond. Well, there you go, everyone. This is an overview of this 48 scale Gulf class submarine. We brought this out to the pond. We had it out. We're going to show you a little bit of footage of that. Wasn't super awesome. It was obviously a long way away in the pond, but we do have a little bit of footage at the pool where we were testing the trim out. Looks a little bit better there. So I'm going to leave you with that. Before you go, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you like what you're seeing. It does help me out a lot, and I appreciate it. With that, I'll leave you. This is Bob Martin, the RC Sub Guy with the NautilusDrydocks.com. We will catch you next time.